The electrical system is one of the hardest parts of any van build, and today I'm going to show you how I've built this 660 amp hour Victron system from scratch. I'm going to show you how I built this electrical cupboard, how I placed all of my components in the electrical cupboard, how I went about all my different wiring, how I've wired up my Multiplus 2, my 240 volt power, secured my batteries down safely. I'll even explain what lugs we used and what wire gauges we used. So join me on this journey of van building and the scary bit of electrics as we put together our Victron electrical system. It's time to give this adventure van build some off-grid power, and today we are installing our solar panels. The electrical system is in and working. This is the final part of the electrical puzzle. So once these solar panels are installed, our camper van conversion will have off-grid solar power. These solar panel brackets, stainless steel. This will work if you've got a uni-stroke roof rack.
I'm Matt and this is Sky. Together with Ginny and Little Man, we are going to build the ultimate adventure van and travel the world. If you're new to the channel, why not subscribe and join us on this epic new adventure? This is A Buck Life.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and today we continue with our 4x4 VW Crafter van build. Today we get going with our electrical system. The electrical system has got to be one of the most important areas of your van build for safety and for usability, and two, also one of the hardest parts of the van build, just because even if you've got a little bit of experience, it is quite scary. There's a lot of components, there's a lot of wiring, there's a lot of things to do, there's a lot of things to think about. My approach for this was just taking it step by step and breaking it down into smaller sections. So 1, build the unit. 2, lay the components out. 3, start wiring up everything I can do out of the van. And then 4, finally wire it up in the van and start testing it. We've just started unboxing it. We have got the Multiplus 2, which is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. It's actually massive. We have got not one but two 330 amp hours of battery. So internal plan is electrical cupboard this side, bike tray in the middle, water tank, diesel heater and boiler running parallel here. This is our maximum space that we've got, about 35 centimeters wide to build that cupboard in there. So that is the plan for the garage space. Now I'm going to mock up in the workshop where the components are going to go, and then I can knock together the electrical cupboard for the Victron system. The plan is, on my bench, I'm going to lay out the area which is going. This is the back panel that I'm suede and put in, and then I've marked out in red the area that we have got to play with room wise to mount this in a cupboard. What we're going to do is we're going to lay it all out on there and then try and work out the best orientation that we can lay the components out for ease of wiring and also to fit in as thinnest and tightest space as possible. Back on the mind-bogglingness of the Victron power system, Chris at Bespoke Solar has supplied all of this stuff. Not only has he done me a wiring plan, he's also done me a layout plan in CAD. I gave him my measurements and he came back to me with a plan of where the things should go. I've marked it out on the table just to lay it out, just to double check it's all gonna fit, and it's hard to kind of see, but if you imagine this is the side of the van where the wheel arch is. Fairly little knowledge of what each of these components is, but with a good wiring diagram and a lot of time, I'm confident I'm going to be able to wire this up. I'll briefly talk you through the layout. So essentially it's going to be split into 4 compartments. 1, 2, 3 and 4. In this end compartment nearest the back doors of the van, we have got the Multiplus, which is the 3000 watt inverter, a consumer unit basically in this end section. Chris advised that this can blow off a bit of heat, so it's good to have quite a lot of air around that one and not pack it in too tight. Then a shallow compartment in front of the wheel arch. This is all solar. The idea is that each each elements are grouped together with the components that they will link to. Breaker there for the solar panels, MPPT solar controller, something that is yellow and black and I have no idea what it is. Then we've got the Orion XS DC to DC charger and a Cerbo GX. Then we've got 2 batteries, 330 amp hour Victron batteries there. By the way, this is Ginny's bloody power. She's gone power mad. Ginny has gone power mad. This power system is big time from what I gather, and I wanted to go with the smaller kind of like 400, two smaller batteries, like total of 400 amp hours, but she was determined that with all the things that she felt we needed to run and planning to be off-grid more than on-grid, so 2 of those batteries there. And then in this corner we have got the Smart Battery Protect, 12 volt fuse board, 2 mega fuses, the battery switch and smart shunt, then the Lynx Distributor, and then last thing was above the Multiplus, above the inverter in this was the V-bus. Now it's all laid out, I'm confident that it will fit in. It's pretty mind-boggling, this. If you have zero knowledge about this stuff, I definitely recommend getting someone to design the system for you and give you a wiring diagram. And I think most people should be, I might take this all back at the end and just have to get someone to help me, but hopefully it will go together. Many hours later of discussion, we have formulated a plan for our battery cupboard, and it is going to look a little bit like this. So the plan is very simply 2 end panels, a mid panel here, top, and then there will be 3 compartments on this side. The inverter will go here, batteries in here, components. That is the rough plan, and what I'm doing here is I've just cut out this first panel, this one, and I'm just gonna, this is for the wheel arch, and then I just need to scribe that up to the side of the curved van and we'll get that in. 1, 2, 3. These are the first 2. I'm going to get the battery shelf in next. I'm just trying to calculate how high I want this bottom section. I don't want it too tight that it makes it difficult working on the components, but at the same time I don't want it too big that my battery and my top components don't fit in there. So I think I've settled on 280, which should give me plenty of room really.
So baby, stay with me. Living for the highlights, living for our dreams.
After a lot of cutting, measuring, screwing, the first part of the cabinet is in. Yes, okay. So I still need to build out this section here, but battery shelf there, components, progress. Slow progress, but progress. The panel is cut down. That just slots in there, like that. Once suede lining, and then bolting back to the wall. 2 more riv nuts in here, prime it, and then we can get that bolted on. Riv nuts in. If anybody is not using riv nuts on their van build, they are just a game changer. Don't screw into your van walls because you'll just make loads of points where it can rust. Use these. They literally just make it super easy to connect anything. Look, in, pick a hole, go like that, Done. Instant bolt point. Then I made myself some of these ground down bolts. I put those in like that. Take my bit of wood, offer that up, put it in position, take my hammer and there. Ah, my thumb! Tells you where to drill. Suede line this.
I love a bit of suede lining. This stuff really makes the build look finished and I really feel like I'm making progress. But whilst I'm waiting for the glue to dry, why not hit subscribe and join me on this crazy adventure?
And it's done. Let me take this off, have a little cheeky look at it. What I would say is it's very forgiving, the suede stuff. Kind of like, as long as your panels cut reasonably well, seems to do a good job of it. Stuffing a bit of insulation in this end bit. I'm not going to put it in here because I still need to run wires and things around there, but I know on this one should be okay to get that insulation in. Oh, I cannot get this bolt in for some reason. It does not want to go. Should have just drilled that hole slightly bigger. There we go. That is looking good, isn't it? It's smart, that. I'm enjoying the suede stuff. Makes it look finished and feel tidy. Not enjoying is cutting all these panels because they just take an age. But that, the last panel, just trying to mark out where I need to profile that around these various fixings. Injury, I've just put that knife through my thumb. Oh, I cut my nail right into my nail. Ow. Right, I'm back. Stop being a fanny now. Little man has provided me with a dinosaur plaster, so we're all good to go. That hurt though. Right, back on with these. What I was just doing was T-trimming these edges, which was really awkward to cut that off, which is why I bloody cut myself. I just failed filming that, annoying, but it's in. Ginny helped me. She's not.
Me and the bump helped.
Top on, and then we can start wiring up, putting components in and stuff like that. Pretty pleased with that. Look at this.
Super cool. Yeah, nice.
And look at this.
Schmad.
How fancy is that? Bob on that, innit? I've just put this bed support back in just to check the top will fit. So we'll just put that in there. Oh, Ginny's doing some insulating but not vibing the camera. Tell us what you're doing.
You just said what I'm doing.
What I'm doing is I'm putting this recycled plastic insulation wall, whatever it's called.
Yeah, saving it from landfill.
Saving it from landfill.
Doing your bit for the environment.
Doing our bit for the environment.
Wearing the face mask because you're preggo.
Yeah, and I keep taking it off.
Yeah.
But that's so I can speak. Wearing the face mask because I'm pregnant. Insulating the door. That's what I'm doing. Stuffing it up there. I'm trying to, but then it's compressing the air.
We're debating
How compressed should the air be?
Yeah, how much should you ram it up there?
Yeah, how much should you ram in there?
New level of riv nutting has been achieved. I've riv nutted a load of these across the top of here because I need to bolt the battery cabinet into there. The batteries weigh like 20 something kilograms each, which is huge. So they need to be fully secured. My battery guy recommended 5 bolts into the van. I actually did a load more, but I think where components are gonna lie, I've done 6 across here, but I've glued these screws onto these longer bolts, and now I'm gonna put that against there, hit it with a hammer, and that should tell me where I need to screw. Ah, beautiful. Just gonna drill these through with the pilot. Oh, not even long enough. The bolts don't fit. I've ordered some from Accu, which is a really good new, I don't know if it's new, but website. You can literally get any bolt in any shape, size. Yeah, I'm gonna crack on with the top now, get that on, and we can start placing some components finally. Top is on. Prepare to I'm so proud of this because I've never built a camper van before. I've never built anything like this before. So it's all a big learning curve. So here it is. Witness battery cupboard. The only slight, it's not as tight as I'd like it, but it is nice and tight at this end where you're probably going to see it a bit more. That was really tricky just marking this out. In the end I just marked it from the underside, from under there, and cut it. Just did a one bang on the cut, and it was I probably should have double, triple checked, but I'm chuffed with that. So that's going in there, pocket hole jointed onto that. We can now get this finally into the workshop. It's literally been today full day, yesterday half day, day before a good half day just to build that cabinet. It's taken its time. It's quite simple as well, but you know, it just, every curve, every angle of the van, like the way this van slopes back towards the end, just made it, you can't just cut out 3 matching pieces and expect it to be straight, because otherwise it would be eaten into the bike tray situation. Right, let's crack on. Let's get this back in the garage. And we've taken this out because I want to wire most of it up in here. Inverter going in here, 240 fuse board going in there, and a 240 socket. Down here, row of solar related components. Batteries going on here. I've also going to leave a little bit of room here because we've actually got a heating duct coming through this side, which we're going to try and make look nice, and then final row of components across the top there. But also I just wanted to show you the construction of it. That's obviously not part of it, but how I've put it together, so you can see many pocket hole joints gone into this. Now the reason for this section having so many is because the weight of the battery is huge. Virginia did not need to get such big batteries, but she insisted on it. So you can see a few pocket hole screws this way on, but not this way. So if you're opening the back of the van, obviously you can't see those. Next job is to get the components on there. Vertically was actually really difficult. So we're laying it down to mount what we can mount laying down, obviously not the batteries. And then what we're using from the guidance from Chris from Bespoke Solar is to space it out with various bits of 18mm plywood, not Snickers. Chuffing chocolate obsessed. What have you been hankering today? What's your weird pregnancy?
I haven't got one. But this week it was crunching it. Crunching nut cornflakes with lots of milk.
First row is in, looking pretty organised. Next, we're going to throw the batteries in, mark the height of them, lay it back down, and then we'll be able to put those components across the top in. 330 amp hours of power per battery. It's so fucking heavy. It's ridiculous.
Hold on.
Oh, is that my Snickers? Never used to like Snickers, and then all of a sudden I did. Right, so that's my battery level. Got these cool blue battery straps, but I'm not quite sure how to actually fasten them down yet. So I'm thinking strap over the top and then 2 straps in front, but that is a problem for another day.
One thing I would change here is not mounting the mega fuses at this point. I'd leave them loose just because of the awkwardness of the wiring. I ended up later on having to shuffle them about.
All components on the left-hand cupboard have now been mounted. I'll just give you a quick walkthrough. I am suffering with a severe case of man flu, but I'm battling through it. Ginny also has lady flu, but seems to be absolutely fine.
Lady.
I don't get why you sing everything. It's so weird. Conduit along the bottom. All of this is solar related. So you've got the Cerbo, the Orion XS, some form of wire connector, the MPPT smart controller, isolator for solar panels. In the top section, this is all kind of battery related. So we've got 12 volt fuse board, smart battery protector, 2 mega fuses, an isolator, the battery shunt, and the Lynx Distributor. I'm going to mount here the inverter and the 240 stuff on this side. Say your valuable things, woman.
Lady flu. Does it exist? It's a question for the nation.
Yeah, no. Women don't get it. They don't get lady flu. Not like us men. Ugh.
I think we get the same thing. I think you just complain more.
Disagree.
There you go.
Ours is severely worse. As are hangovers. So, next job is mounting the inverter Multiplus 2. 3000 watts of inversion. I've no idea what I'm talking about here. This is well beyond me, but we are getting there. So that is going in here, but we also need to be able to get cables from the Lynx through, and we need some ducting down here at the bottom to take cables off the bottom of this.
Top tip here, where I screwed up. If I was going to do this again, I would have mounted this higher up in the cupboard. That's because all the wiring is right at the bottom of it, and it's super hard to access.
Yes! And the inverter is in. Look at that. It's a beast, isn't it? It's really awkward. So that is in, screwed in. Feels solid, that. Had a bit of trouble because the screws they supplied are super long. Only got 15 mils to play with. So I just had to grind down some thick, choddy screws. Another little job I just need to do, because this won't come apart again, is this supporting piece of wood here. I couldn't work out how to get it up there with a T-trim on or without having this bare wood showing. So what I'm going to try, there's one at the bottom as well, what I'm going to try is iron on laminate. I've just done a little test. It irons on really well. However, it's just cutting the edge. Oh, I'm right chuffed with that. A little bit of sanding. That doesn't look too bad, does it? That doesn't look that. That looks neat. Oh, it's only hidden away, isn't it? But oh, I'm really. I've got. It's time consuming though, that's taking me about half an hour. They are in 1, 2. Okay, so new day, new haircut. Inverter, V-bus, and the 240 fuse board and isolator are all in. All of the ducting or conduit is now pretty much in. This now really is wiring time, but I'm pretty pleased with how it looks. Aesthetically, I think it looks bang on, and layout wise it's pretty much as Chris recommended. There was a few alterations, but apart from that, I kind of feel like I need to start getting wires in there now, just to see if I need to make any additional changes. Oh, sorry, the smart shunt's that.
Yeah.
So that down to this.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Quickly going to run through the tools that I used during this Victron build. I'll link all these tools in the description below, and I'll also put a materials list for all of the Victron components that we used, the wire, things like that, so it's all in there. So hopefully that will be helpful to you. Tools required: heavy duty wire cutters, light duty wire cutters, which are fine, but for the 35 and 70mm wires, you couldn't get through them without that. Bootlace crimpers. That is for the ferrules. Normal crimpers. Hydraulic crimping tool. This is for the lugs that you need for the bigger wire connections. All of these were just off Amazon and pretty much just budget friendly tools. Most of these tools I'm probably not going to use again, or at least not for a while. I went with ones with good reviews that people seem to rate, but didn't break the bank. This had some good reviews. Little tip, I don't think I mentioned this in when I was using it, but these things, for some of the connectors, when you do it, sometimes you just need to size down on these pieces. So say if it's a 35 and it feels a bit loose, just size down and then it feels proper tight. Last minute order that I needed was some of these really small screwdrivers, and that was mainly because of the length of the handle to get into the Multiplus. I should have bought these earlier on in the build, but some decent wire strippers. These were decent ones actually, to be fair only 20 quid, but decent wire strippers, especially for the 12 volt stuff. They made that a lot easier. Electrical tools, so wire cutters, screwdrivers, pliers, things like that. Make sure you get yourself some electrical tape. I got myself some black and some of this earth to highlight the earth cables. These came in handy, just a multi-pack of various connectors, ring terminals, bootlace ferrules, but also 2-into-1s, because sometimes you've got two cables going into one, especially for the 230 stuff. These heat shrink wire connectors for the 12 volt stuff have been really good, so I recommend those. Get yourself a decent heat gun. That's super handy for your heat shrink and those butt connectors. Loads of different heat shrink, all your different ferrule sizes, which I'll run through later on in the video. Oh, some stubby screwdrivers are handy as well, because if you're working in confined space. Oh, the only other thing that I actually don't know where they are now. Lastly, but not least, the best scissors I've ever bought. Literally cut through anything. I love these scissors. Used for cutting my wires, I used them for stripping wires, cutting everything. They get through everything. Get a pair of these, really handy. Tell the camera, Ginny, what you're doing.
Hi guys.
Today with wiring with Ginny.
I'm just ticking them off as we complete them.
I think it's a good bit of advice. My mate said, Dave said to me to do it.
Yeah, probably makes sense.
Go through the wiring.
Otherwise you're like, what have I done?
And just tick each one off as you go.
Yeah.
Right, we're starting with the easy bits, which are the data cables that are provided. These are just plug and play, there's no lugs to do, it's literally just work out where they go and stick them in.
What's next, Ginny?
What's next is this 1.8 meter cable,
Ethernet.
which is an Ethernet cable, and it's going from the V bus, which is there, to the Cerbo, getting very close to my face, Cerbo GX.
All of our Cerbo GX data cables are now in place. did just have to drill a few additional holes to route them correctly. Oh, the Hudjimir.
Yeah.
The Hudjimir.
The Hudjimir cable.
You can film me putting this sexy oh my god, look at the tolerances. If I'd have made that any smaller, that would not have fitted in. Poke it through. And where's this HDMI cable running from and to?
Well, you've got the
So we're
info.
going
It's all
Cerbo,
there.
Cerbo.
It's on the
I
last
just wanted
page.
to involve you in the,
Oh, right,
in
okay,
the
sorry.
conversation, but suit yourself. You don't want it. It's running to
My brain's not working, baby. It's going from Cerbo to
data
the
panel.
data panel, the fancy screen
Right,
that we have in
now-
the van.
Yeah, USB cable.
The USB cable, and that is going from. It's going from the Cerbo to the control panel, the fancy screen. that we have
Oh
in the
right,
van.
screen again.
Yeah.
Okay. The last of the data cables are the battery BMS cables, and these are going from the
The V bus,
V bus.
the
From the
VE
V-
bus,
From the V bus
V bus.
to batteries.
Matt had a haircut.
It's not. It needs gelling, obviously, but it's a mullet. Representing for the Australian audience, which make up 5% of our viewers.
Where do they?
G'day.
Do they generally have mullets?
I think so. I think it's a thing.
I don't know if they do.
Yeah, they do. Right, what we've just done here is stripped out the vehicle, ready for scrapping. No. No, stripped out the vehicle to find the battery, which you would think would be in the engine bay, but is actually in here. Ta-da!
Really convenient if you break down.
I don't know if it is, because if there's a chair on there...
Okay, that's what I mean.
Oh, was that sarcasm? Your wit. So, what we need to do, we need to order, well, sorry, Ginny needs to order
I need to order a 35 mil
the battery cable.
cable.
So we're going to run a piece of string where we think it needs to go, and we've decided that the battery cable needs to not pass underneath this cushioning here. Although maybe I might have a look, because this will be stood on quite a bit. So we're going to run the cable up here, over the top, down the van to the back.
But the cable's expensive.
So the string thing is a thing to do. Use a
To
bit of
save
string.
a bit of cash, because otherwise you need one length of cable. How much do you want to spend on the cable?
How much is the estimated cost of the cable?
Well, it's £14 a metre, so
A lot.
yeah, it could be a lot. I've got my tea.
Got a tea and a belly. And that's what she's bringing to the party. One of my mates told me yesterday, cheeky little column here is a hidden run through. So that's how we get the cable. So that's how we get the cable from top to bottom. And then from here, we can run it into the electrical cupboard through there. Yeah. So we just need to measure this piece of string when it's into the electrical cupboard. What am I doing? I'm tying these to these bits of string to this bit of string, and then
I'm going to pull the string.
I'm going to pull the string up through here. Oh, look at that! It's,
The string.
it's like magic.
It is magic.
That is like magic. I feel like a magician right now. There you go. And now you have got a series of awkward pull. Because it took me yesterday. I didn't film this, but it took me yesterday about 20 minutes to get one bit through. So if you take those two bits, okay, and then if you want to know how much
It's like the peep show.
how much cable you need if you're doing a long wheelbase crafter, running it exactly the same way and having your batteries in the same place as we are, you need 10 meters 50.
Yay.
Well done. Teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Teamwork does make the dream work.
We are wiring up things today. Here's one we made earlier, and we're going to go through the process of what we've done. Ginny is the brains, and I am the hired help. So
You're the brawn.
So
You're the muscle. The muscle.
So we're starting with this one here, which is
a 35mm cable.
Yep. What was your advice about starting with the diagram?
To start on the first page.
Start on the.
Matt was like, let's just do the thin ones first.
So we're starting on the first page of our diagram, which is all of the battery stuff.
Yes.
And for this, let's go through what we've got. We've got this 35mm cable, black for negative.
Yeah.
We've got 10mm ring terminals that connect to the smart
Or
shunt
cable lugs.
and the battery.
They're actually called cable lugs.
Oh, they're cable lugs.
Sorry.
So the first thing we are doing is connecting both our negative batteries to this. However, we're not actually going to connect up our batteries because I need to take these out to lift it in. But
It's just the first page.
we are measuring the length of the cable, cutting it, and then we've got stripping it using a Stanley. And we've got this hydraulic crimper, which has done a great job of crimping.
Using one of these on the end, and then crimping.
And crimping. So
And then
heat shrinking.
using some of this. Need some heavy duty ones. They definitely won't get through the 70mm. Look at that. Bad boy.
How are you?
What just happened?
Universal best scissors I've ever bought in the world that I use for cutting everything, cut through the wire.
Including his hair.
Yeah, I did actually. No, I did. Once we get to that stage, we then take our 10mm M10, check that it, well, I'm going to check it fits that battery terminal. Then,
Thought you were going to fry yourself.
then I'm going to offer it up to my piece of wire, cut neatly around. Oh. We place that into, making sure you don't get any stray strands, because that can be a fire hazard.
Massive fire hazard.
Look at the fitment. Oh. Then Ginny needs to help for this bit. Right.
So maybe we need to.
Do we need to consider how that crimp goes on there? Kind of like that.
What are you going for?
Well, just the orientation,
Oh, you mean the
like
angle?
the angle of it, yeah. Crimp like your life depends on it. Look at that. Oh, that is sexy, that. I'm right. Oh no.
What?
We've not put the heat shrink on. Fuck. I think
so
we
annoying.
can
can fit
squeeze it
over.
over, yeah. I'm going up to that little bend in the crimp,
In the cable lug.
in the cable lug, and then
Dreamy.
look at the professionalness. And that's it. Done. So that one goes on there. That one will connect to the battery. However, I'm just going to tuck it in there because I don't want it to touch anything. That crimp tool is good and it wasn't very expensive.
It was 35 quid
on Prime.
from Amazon,
I'll
yeah.
link it in.
And it does all your, I think 16mm to 70mm wires. Boom.
Future Matt here, and I'm going to run through all of the cable sizes and lugs that we use because this was something that just took us ages to work out, so hopefully this will be useful for somebody. So starting with the batteries to the smart shunt, that needed 35mm cable and M10 lugs on both ends, so M10 for battery, M10 for smart shunt. The positive battery cables needed M10 to battery again, and up to the mega fuses they needed M8s. Worth mentioning here as well that the cables from the batteries to the smart shunt and to the mega fuses and from the mega fuses to the isolator all needed to be an equal length. So despite this distance being less than this distance, these cables are the same length, and that's to do with voltage drop. Update. We have run the cables that we could run today. We need to obviously order some more bits, which is the kind of story of a van build. We need some lugs to wire into the smaller components, and Ginny didn't order enough wire to wire up any more of this. But we've wired into the fuse box, to the 12 volt fuse box. We've done the negatives for the battery, and we've done a few of the other larger gauge. Right, job for today after work is in this cable here. I have threaded my ignition live through to get front to back. Was going to run my battery positive cable as well, but that is too thick for 12 mil, so Ginny needs to order, so we need to order some bigger conduit. This was fiddly and I couldn't get it through in one piece, so I've had to get it through in 3, cut the conduit and then tape it, electrical tape it back together. Now I'm going to run it front to back of the van. Have started on these 16mm cable. So I've run that Orion, which goes to the battery at the front. Next thing I'm going to do is run positive and negative, or positive and a ground, from the Orion XS up to the Lynx Distributor. So both positive and negatives going from the Orion to the Lynx required a 16mm cable, and at the Orion end we used bootlace ferrules here. At the Lynx end, again, it's M8 lugs. To the MIDI box, so in there you've got your MIDI fuses, and again that's just a 16mm cable, and inside that we needed an M5 lug for the outbound one into the Orion. Coming in from the car battery, we required again an M5 lug. Our cable was a 35mm cable. Right, they are in. I've put these in a little bit of conduit because these holes I've cut are a bit jagged and I couldn't really find something to cover them. So I've just put a bit of conduit where they're going through, and also round the back, obviously those wires are going to be exposed, so I just wanted something to protect them in case they rub on anything. Right, inbound solar. So obviously we've got the solar cables coming into the solar isolator there. The solar cables connecting from the isolator to the MPPT, we used 4mm ferrules, and again we used 16mm cable for both the positive and negatives. The MPPT from there up to the Lynx, we used again ferrules on the MPPT side, and 16mm cable again, and then up to the Lynx Distributor where we used M8 lugs. Little things I've got wrong, so you don't have to, is that any cables coming from the battery, directly linked to the battery, need to be, if you've got a double battery setup, need to be the same length. So here, where we, with these, I think these were the 32mm cables, where these connect to this battery, so I did that one kind of, what, 25 centimeters, and that one kind of 50 to connect to there. Where these are now different lengths, that one I'm gonna have to scrap and redo it so they're both the same length. It's something to do with the resistance. So any cables going from and to the batteries need to be the same length, regardless of where the battery position is and how long you actually need the cables. Right, 35 black done, redone. What is weird is that then just has to kind of neatly tuck somewhere, but these are both done, ready to go on. Next, I'm going to do 35s to the mega fuses, and then the mega fuses to the isolator. little tip here, something I'm finding useful, is because each component has either a different wire and a different fastener size, I've been getting them out and just placing them on the components before I start cutting wire to length, because this stuff's expensive. So if you cock up your wiring, like I've done a few bits that we've got wrong, only little bits thankfully, but if you messed up like some of these pieces, you know, they're £5–10 per meter. Double check your lugs. And right, update, it is late, like 11 o'clock at night late, and we are still going on this electrical stuff. This has been a right pain because I just didn't leave enough room between the switch and that, and I wanted to keep these cable lengths the same, so it's just been a bit of a fiddly trickery manoeuvre. However, I think I've worked it. Both of the 70mm cables, positive and negative, to the inverter plumbed in. The last big 70mm cable I need to do is to the earth of the van, so I'm going to do that now. And then we've only got a few little cables left to do, and we can think about getting it in the van. Right, the big boy cables now. These ones, which go to the Multiplus, are inverter. So for these, got a positive and a negative. We used 70mm cable for both positive and negative, and again it's an M8 onto the Lynx, and then over on it is again an M8 lug. The other large cable we use 70mm for is the earth cable connected to the van chassis, and for that one we used an M8 lug, 70mm cable, M8 lug on the Lynx, and then I used an M8 lug to bolt it into the van chassis, stainless steel bolts. We also did an earth cable again on the Multiplus to the van chassis, and for that we used 70mm cable with an M8 lug on this side, and then an M8 lug on the van chassis. Okay, so the last few things we've got to do is connect up the Orion XS. We were just missing some more of these, didn't have the right ones, or we ran out, or one of those. And also connect up the MPPT, both going up to the Lynx. Few little bits to connect up with the solar system there, with the fuse incoming solar wires to the MPPT. Then I need to wire up the fuse to the battery in the van, run the cable in the van, and hopefully by the end of today we may have the cabinet in and wired up. MPPT and the Orion are now connected up to the Lynx. The next thing I need to do is run another 16mm cable from this earth point here all the way around and up to the Lynx as well. Last of the main cables to do are the solar cables from that circuit breaker to the MPPT there, and then they shoot out the back and go up to the solar panels. I'm just putting these ferrules onto the solar cable wire. I think they just help to keep the wires together. So that goes on there. And then you get these special crimpers, bootlace crimpers. And you pop that in there. And that's it. Right, time to run this cable. Oh, fuck's sake. The conduit is too thick for that hole. I told Jenny to order the 15mm, not the 20. This electrical is the most stressful bit of this van build. I've just spoke to my wiring guru and obviously I've cocked up. So in here, didn't even realise this, we need some mega fuses to go across here, which I've now ordered. And I had my Orion and MPPT going to the same rail. So I need to move, my Orion's going to stay there and I'm going to move my MPPT, which is, that's the earth for it anyway, to that rail so it has a separate fuse. But the learning curve on this is phenomenal for a system of this level. I didn't even, this just sounds stupid when I say it now, but I didn't even know that the mega fuses needed fuses. Like obviously I thought that was the fuse, it's just a fuse holder. I know, it's special, but so I'm just gonna swap these out now, move them onto there so that that's ready to receive the fuses. Oh, and I can't route the cable through the van because it's too big for the little hole that I'd planned to route through. So I've ordered a step drill and some rubber grommets, and tomorrow I'm just gonna drill some holes through some of the metal work and pull the cables through that way. There's literally no other way of getting that gauge of cable from the front to the back. Another little job I need to do whilst I've run out of wiring things because I need to order more things is battery slots. I bought these nice matchy Victron blue battery straps off Amazon. I'll link all the stuff I use down in the description if it helps anybody out. I'm going to route some grooves in the base. I have 2 over the back, and then I'm going to have 1 going over that way. I've routed these out, not too bad, could be slightly better. It did jump in the odd spot, but you're not going to see them, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to stick these straps in and then have a go at strapping them down and see how they feel. Right, straps in. Let's get the batteries in. Not sure how I feel about them, if I'm honest. I've seen everybody do this. I need to just try and get a bit more tension on them because they still wobble a bit. I mean, not bad. That top one definitely needs more, but these side ones I've got pretty good. Right, let's see if we can make this work. I think we might be able to work it through here. So, if I come up here, I found a hole at the back of there that it's got through. And then, if I can drill through here somewhere, up there and out, I reckon we might just get it. A moment of truth, can we get this through here? Second hole is right, I'll just pre-warn you that I may have drilled a touch more than I needed, but that is going to be able to get it through. And I think, does it come through the, yeah, you can get all the way along through there. Yes! Right. Moment of truth. Yes! Before I thread it through, I need to prime it. Right, a little bit of Sikaflex. Sika Primer 207. The saga with the routing of this cable continues. Like I'm wanking this off. Nobody wants any chafage, and because of that I have fitted some little rubber grommets.
I need time, just a little more time. I need time. I need time, just a little more time. One more time, one more time.
Yes, finally, it's run, routed through, all the way up, through the back, down, and over here and down. Yes, that has been a job I've been trying to do for about a week. Right, now my cables are run, ignition live and the main battery cable. I'm gonna get to my battery. We need to wire it in. So I need to attach this circuit breaker to a positive on the battery, and there's a little bolt just, maybe you can see it just there, I'm going to attach to. That attaches to that M8 fixing, and then that's an M6, and then that goes off to the Victron system.
Then I should say, and I'm like, I need time, just a little more time.
Right, thermal circuit breaker switch is in. I've already put the end on this, so this is just a case of getting it wired up onto the circuit breaker switch. Yes, in. So that is all wired up now, heading towards the Victron system. So we're now ready for the van to receive the Victron cupboard. And the fuses have arrived. Look at them. I had no idea I even needed them until I needed them. So, gonna get these in. Mega fuses going here, here, MIDI fuses in there.
Do these have to go a specific way round?
Next job is the mega fuses, and I need two 200 amp ones that are going in here. And that's the mega fuses on the mega fuse holders. Right, we're just trying to get, actually we have now got in those two sensor cables, these 1.5mm ones. They're so fiddly, won't be able to get those in once the cabinet is in, but they're in. One goes to that as a trickle charge sensor, and one goes up to this as a temp sensor. And then we're just trying to earth cable to this point here, which we've got an M8. Problem was, with an M8 fitting, the lug wouldn't go through and get on. So what I've had to do, because I haven't got any M10s and an M12 looks too big, is I've just drilled it out slightly. So hoping that will be all right. We can swap this cable. This is one of the ones we can swap. But I just want to get it in.
Come in.
Assist.
Come in.
Wiggle it. Right. Does that go through the fucking hole? It's on. It is on. Yes. You don't know how much pain this has caused me. Apart from one data cable to the V-bus, which I just need those things I've ordered, those butt connectors, everything on here is now fully wired up. The last thing to do is the 240 stuff with the Arctic Blue cable. So if you're doing any 240 in a van, you want 2.5 twin and earth Arctic Blue, and I think Arctic Blue is just a thicker, more durable, it's like a armoured, not an armoured cable, but along those lines. The plastic is a bit stronger. I'd still run this in conduit, but it's only going from the inverter to here. So I'm going to crack on, get those in now. I've run the cables from the Multiplus over to these two. I've done everything for this now to go into the van. I'm now going to grind off a couple of points in the back for where we're going to earth to the van. I could use an angle grinder for this, however, I don't really want to put a load of sparks in the van, so I'm going to use a little sander just to see if that works. And here, behind the electric cabinet, I'm going to make 3 earthing points. Earthing bolts going in. I'm just using some stainless steel M8 bolts. That's those 3 done, prepped, ready for tomorrow for the big install. These cables, I can't put the lugs on until I pass them through the cabinet, so we're pretty much there. Maybe a little bit of insulation in there. A new morning. Some finishing touches going on. I'm not going to put all of these on, but this one can go on. Look who's joined me for the big put in the van. Can you wave? Are you feeling poorly today? Table is clear. Van is repositioned closer to the garage. Just need to take the batteries off, and then we can try and get this in the van. So, it's stressful this because it's heavy and I'm on my own. Ginny's going to try and help, but she's obviously very, very pregnant at the moment. So the plan is to spin this round, put it there, drag it into the van somehow. I think height-wise they'll be about the same. Steps 2, a safe lift. 1, plan the route. 2, make sure there's no tripping hazards. And 3, don't do it on your own. Oh, I'm stuck. Oh my god. Hang on. No, stop. It's twisted. And a bit more. And right, ready?
We've got these.
Slide. Oh my god, it's literally like perfect height for it. Hang on, just chill. It's fine. Maybe you should just stand up here and just guide it in. Yeah, you guide it in and I'll lift it. You just pull it. Just remember that that's now slightly unstable, so that's fine. 3, 2, 1. There we go, in.
Woo!
Well, that went in without a hitch, didn't it?
Big up G-Bobs, 38 weeks pregnant and helping me chuck these things in the van. Hit that subscribe button to show your love for Ginny.
Right, it's in. Well, it's in the van. Now we need to start adding our cables from the van, ignition live and the battery. Right, I'm working in the dark because it's obviously raining in England today, but I have threaded through my solar cables. They're going through there and then up, and I've also pulled through this way my ignition live and positive from car battery. I'm just going to try and bolt on the 2 earthing cables, and then we'll be able to push it back and see if we can bolt it. Let's see if these bolts reach. Oh, that is in. That's in. That's actually in. Quick update. It's not in yet, but I have pulled it back out, and I was just feeling like a couple of the wires were fouling, mainly because I'd ran them incorrectly. Like I put those over those, so they were trying to pull them down. So I've just redone that. Used some little 12mm pipe clips and a zip tie just to loosely guide them roughly where I want them. Attempt number 2, push back, bolt back. It's in. There you go. Fairly secure, not fully bolted down, but the bolts are in, lined up, and that feels pretty secure. Might just add a few pocket hole screws just to pull that end down into the floor. The thing is once I started getting in, because I'm using van to get to work, once I started putting it in, I had to put it in, and it had to be bolted in today. Getting close now, just the batteries to go. Last little wiring job, and theoretically I could turn the system on now, is to connect up this bladed fuse with my ignition live cable. That just tells the system when the engine is actually on. I have off camera, because you've seen this all before, I've just run my secondary 16mm positive and negative. The first lot went to the 12-volt fuse board, and then we're going to have another 12-volt fuse board up here somewhere. That means we haven't got to muck about going high-low. I've just run those, and then I'm going to bring those underneath this bed rail, and I'm going to zip tie them to the bottom of that, and then they're going to come out here, poke through there, and up into this section here, which we've obviously not made or designed yet, but that's the plan. We're about ready. I've just got a tiny bit of 240 to do, just waiting for that wire to arrive. It's coming tomorrow, more Arctic blue to do the plug sockets, and then actually we can the final switch on. I feel like I've said that a million times, but it's gonna happen. Where we are up to before I can turn the power on. Well, I could turn it on now, but I kind of may as well just get a few more little bits ticked off, because I don't want to keep having to take this cupboard and pull it back to, you know, for various reasons. So where we're up to is all my 240 cables are now run, and the fuse board is now finished. That is fully wired up. I've got 240 run over here, and then we'll go down there that way, because we're getting a bit chock-a-block with wires that end. That is for the front area. One is for the hob and the other one is for the socket. These sockets are wired up here as well. So all the 240's done. The cupboard is in for what should be the final time. Bolted it back again, so that's pretty solid. I have put these pocket hole points in, and I am going to screw it down, because when I was driving around in it this week, it was jumping all over the place, and yeah, I want to get those in. But I think all the wires are in. The heating duct is now in, running through to the bathroom. So really, we are ready to go. Yes, we are now fully in. This cupboard is not coming out again. If it does, I think I'm probably going to have a small heart attack. Next job, batteries in. I've got to hoof these huge batteries out and stick them in here. That's one. 2. Ready? 3, 2, 1. I've got a feeling that these are going to wiggle around even with 3 straps. I just don't feel like, when I had them strapped in before on the bench, they just didn't feel as secure as I wanted them to be. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's not too bad, to be fair. Oh, actually, I'm pretty happy with that. Batteries in, look at it. Yes. Next job is to flick the power on from the battery. I'm guessing have the engine going, so that we're getting current from the, make sure all the isolators are off. The solar's off because that's not plumbed in yet. Those isolators are off. That's off at the moment. Annoying, I have put in the wrong size blade fuse. I've put in a mini one because I thought it went there, but it actually, the ignition live goes here, So I've just ordered some from Halford, so I'm going to nip and get those. Whenever you think you're nearly there, you're not. And some might say I'm not prepared, but I'm really trying the amount of time I devote to this build is insane. Right, fuses received. Fuse connected and on. There we go. So those ones there, anybody doing a crafter build, those 4 are ignition live. This is just going to tell the system when to charge the battery off the alternator, and will stop it from draining the car battery, so you're not left with you're not left stranded without any power. So batteries in, fuse done. This is getting scary now. Right, now I'm going to turn this on.
I might move away.
It's not gonna.
Got 2 parents. One parent at least.
Thanks, Ginny. Thanks for the vote of confidence. Right, that I don't know how to. What to just push it in? Ooh. Right, next step is. Next step, I believe, is just. Hopefully not a fire. I think. Oh, look, we've got a lot. Oh,
there's light.
There's a light.
And it's not fire.
Oh my God, things are flashing. This is very exciting. Have you seen how? Look at the neatness, Ginny.
Very neat. It's
It's a very masculine pose you've done there. Right, I believe now we go that to position. Oh,
have you actually read how you do this?
No, just turn it on.
Pretending.
Oh, I'm gonna.
No.
Do you know what I am gonna do?
So,
Hang on a minute. Why is that? What? Why is that drawing power? If that ignition live. Why is that drawing power? If that shouldn't that ignition live be telling it to, like, not draw power?
yeah, it's not on.
But maybe it's just pull it. Maybe it's. I am going to start the engine. Well, there's definitely power there. Nothing has blown up just yet. Right, let's turn this on, I believe. Yeah, because the Lynx isn't on yet. Has anything come on this screen? No, so nothing's come on that screen.
V-E-bus.
Is the V-bus
It's on.
Oh, that's on.
There's a light on it.
Right, I believe we now switch this to 1, 2. Nothing.
Who's told you this?
No one. I'm just assuming. The Lynx is not on. Why is that not on?
The Orion's on. The Cerbo's not on.
Cerbo's on.
Oh, the Cerbo's now on.
Flashing.
Maybe it's just going to take
Maybe
a minute.
maybe it's just going to take a minute. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we.
Oh, look.
Ah! The screen is on. Stuff is happening. Don't know what to do. He did send me a list of things to put on, and then he'll log into it and sort it out. What are you doing today, Ginny?
Well, I might be in labour, but I'm also insulating the van.
Well done. Keep up the good work. I'm Braxton Hicksting whilst insulating. Right, sit rep. That is on. I've had the engine on for a bit just to, I don't know, so it doesn't rinse the thingy battery. I'm going to plug a max air fan in to see if it's working, see if we can power something up. Bit nervous about draining the battery on the van. That's where I'm at. So I might isolate the van from it so it's not pulling. I don't know if the batteries came with charge. I'm not sure how long it's been on for about an hour, 45 minutes an hour. So whether it's got a bit of a charge off that or not, who knows. But yeah, I'm going to wire up this max air fan just quickly to see if it's working, and then speak to my Victron guy, who hopefully said he'll log in and get it all set up. A bit of an anticlimax, to be fair. I was quite excited. Nothing actually happened. Just going to jerry-rig this up, and then these go in here onto the fuse board. No? Oh. Yes! Power! That, well, there's the fuse board Fuse board wired up. And that is wired up. We've got power. We've got power in the van. Yes! All of that work to power a fan. I'm happy though. When you've grinded on something this hard for this long, literally weeks, this is like on and off. It is a really good feeling when something works and doesn't blow up. So for a complete novice to crack on and get this done, you know, I'm chuffed. It's been a steep learning curve, but we've got there. Obviously we've got a few things to iron out. It's a good feeling. We're there. Well, I think that brings us to the end of the Victron build, which is probably quite a long video because it's been going on for ages, but we've got there. We've got power. Yes, there's more to do, but the fan works.
Does it? Amazing.
Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it useful. Hope perhaps maybe I've made many mistakes that you won't.
You hope.
Hope you will find it useful in watching me make the mistakes so you don't have to. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave us a comment, let us know what kind of job you think we've done on the Victron build. It's time to give this adventure van build some off-grid power, and today we are installing our solar panels. The electrical system is in and working. This is the final part of the electrical puzzle. So once these solar panels are installed, our camper van conversion will have off-grid solar power. These solar panel brackets, stainless steel, this will work if you've got a uni-strut roof rack. We've got 4 solar panels to install, 2 slightly larger ones and 2 slightly smaller ones. Wire these together in series, so one 120 panel with one 150, and then on a second loop, the other 120 panel to the other 150. Ooh, my ladder's not erected correctly. I'll show you where these are going. So on the roof, we have got 1 solar panel going lengthways down the van there, 1 going lengthways there, and then 2 going across the van here and here. We've got a mule roof rack, but essentially this will work if you've got a uni-strut roof rack as well, because the supports on the mule roof rack are just uni-strut. So let me show you what components I've bought to get these solar panels installed for this installation. Include these M6 Zeb nuts, and these basically fit inside the uni-strut and act like a nut, so you can bolt into those. The main joining components are these solar panel brackets, stainless steel from Mule Vans. Got some 20mm M6 bolts, some nylon nuts, again these are stainless steel, and then I've also just got some penny washers, some normal washers, and some spring washers as well, because I don't want these coming off. Also going to put some of this Loctite onto the Zeb nuts. I just don't want anything coming loose. I need to drill the solar panels. Sounds scary, but apparently it isn't. And then I've just got a few sockets and spanners. Sounds simple enough, let's hope it is. So again, Bespoke Solar, who provide our electrical system, coming up trumps. They have provided me with a diagram for where our solar panels are going. So long and thin ones going up front, and then the 2 chubby ones going in the middle. Nice little wiring diagram as well, which is spot on. I'm gonna get the solar panels on the roof. I just need to move the uni-struts so they're in line, or where I want them. Yeah, we can get those bolted down. Front panels going here like this. That uni-strut bar can't go any more forward, but this one can. So I'm gonna pull this way so it's as tight up against the max air fan as possible. I just hope these fit. Yeah, I'm quite close to this edge. Pro tip, magnetic tray so you don't lose your bolts, even though that doesn't stick. Why doesn't that stick? Is stainless steel not magnetic? Oh, it's not. Wow, there you go. Learning something new every day. What a beautiful autumn day today, by the way. Nudged that uni-strut this way, just giving the max air fan enough room to open, and then get my other 2 panels in place so I know that everything's good in terms of dimensions. I'm going to offer a panel up and see how they fit. I am actually a little bit worried that the solar panels in there will not fit. What are you having? What are you having?
I put milk everywhere.
You put milk everywhere.
I made that tea.
You made a cup of tea? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Can I have a cup of tea? Should you have some shoes on? Please don't touch that. Please don't touch that. This is going to be really tight. Ginny is just testing to make sure that opens fully. Keep going. Is that it? Nice. Got one in position, well, one in position-ish, and then I've got to fit the other one in here. But I think it's going to go now. I was worried for a minute there. That's so close to not fitting that that's resting on the uni-struts, and it needs to just sit inside. But I think this one can move a little bit that way, and then that can also, I mean, if it has to, go that way. So I think we'll work backwards from this end. Tight though, right? I'm pretty confident now these are going to fit. Next thing I need to do is drill the solar panels, attach the brackets. I'm going to bolt from this end first and work forward because I think I've got a bit more room to play with down there. Now I need to attach these brackets to the solar panel. Looking at the back of these, conveniently, these have holes in there already. So all I need to do, nut and bolt in there, bolt those down, and off we go. And we're losing the light already. They just go on there, going to go. Penny washer, spring washer. That on there, and then nylon nuts on the bottom. Done. That's how they fit. 4 more to do. By using the spring washer and the nylon nut, that will just stop it coming loose, so it just saves you a job because these are awkward to get to and you don't want them rattling around and you don't want them blowing off. Nice. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 of those brackets on. We need these Zeb nuts to attach it to the unistrut. I might sound frantic, but it's because I'm trying to do as much tonight before the bloody sun goes down. That is what the panel looks like when it's sat on the unistrut. Look at the tightness to the max air fans. What we do is we get one of these Zeb nuts, put that in there, push it down, twist, and then slide that into position, and then we simply go washer, spring washer, bolt, and that's it. In. Can I double up these? Or maybe I can offset them actually. So if I slide these all the way down this way, just tighten that up with the Allen key, and that's it. Right, that one is on, locked in, bolted in position. I'm happy with it, happy with where it's sitting there. So now we want to see if we can get this one on, and to save us having to drill holes, I'm just going to see, I've mounted this one this way, and if we use those pre-drilled holes on the back of the solar panel, hopefully it will just sit next to it side by side, but we will see. Next one is ready to go on. Yes! Oh, it fits. Look at it. Beautiful. Those two are fitted. I now need to fit these two. I need to line up that unistrut rail with the pre-drilled hole on that end, and then I'm going to need to drill some holes on this end. Right, new day today. Ran out of light last night, so we ended up having to finish. Did manage to get the third panel up, but I just wanted to show you how I drilled it and put it on. So for the far end, I can use the existing bolt down points or holes in the back. For this end, I need to be around here somewhere, 9.5 centimeters in. So to do that, all I'm gonna do is mark it out and drill it, and then bolt those in position. Double check. Safety wood behind, so we don't put the drill bit through the solar panel. Center punch, or in this case a screw. Aluminium, so dead easy.
Same as before then, penny washer, spring washer, M6 bolt, awkward nylon nut. Tighten her up. Let's throw it on the roof. The other one is in position already, so it's just a case of repeating that process. They are mounted. Right, cabling for the solar panels. I have routed my cables out my electrical cupboard. They come along through the back, through that channel there, up through this beam and pop out here, positive, negative, and then I'm going to drill through and they're going to go up through there underneath one of the panels just to give the cable seal a bit of protection from the elements. Tools and equipment required for the electrical installation of the solar panels. We have got scan strut dual cable seal. So this bridges the gap from the outside to inside, allows the cables to go into the van without letting water in. We've also got some MC4 crimpers. Apparently you can use normal ones. I got it in a kit, 20 quid, this and a few connectors, so why not? Finally, I've got an MC4 branch connector 2-in-1, and that's because the way we're actually wiring these in, spare MC4 connectors and wire connectors. It's always good to have spares, and I've got to maybe put some extension wires in. Today is solar panel wiring up day. We just need to now drill a hole in the van, fit our dual cable seal back on the roof, and this panel needs to come off. Drill hole. I want to get that good, clean, tight bond. Squeaky clean. My spot, I'm going in there. Oh, it never gets easier drilling into your van, I tell you. I've marked my step drill so I know how deep to go. There we go. Deburr that. Right, centre punch. Drill bits are so shit. Oh, you fucking slut. Just dribbled and damaged the roof. Look at that. What a bag of what I'm going to do with that? I have to paint that now with some horrendous black paint. Right, back with a new different drill bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. I would love a brew. That stinks. The old down for paintbrush. Oh, that actually works. Ridiculous. A neat dab. No one's looking at this anyway. Nobody is looking on the roof. We just peel this off here. That's going on there. That is going in that direction. Carefully stick that. Now we need to feed our cables up through. I'm just feeding them through here. That goes on there. We also need to put our cable bungs on there. Are they the right ones? They feel a bit loose. Want it tight, don't we? These bungs are now on, ready to go in. The next step is I'm going to screw that down. I need a second pair of hands. Another classic buck mistake. That needed to go on before I threaded the wires through. But have no fear, I can just notch a bit out and thread the wires through that way. Hold on, Ginny. Coming to the rescue and helping. Right, let me just get one of these screws in. You're bang on there, babe. Yeah, I know. Historically, this would have led to an argument, this type of... Yes. As long as it's tight up against the roof, that is screwed down. I'll show you at the inside of it so you can see what it looks like. Oh, I'm proper happy with that. There we go.
Straighten up the cables, man. Oh, that's in. Yes. Screw that bad boy down. Yes. 100% happy with that. Yes. That is on, tightened down, ready for our first cabling. I'm not joking, right? I thought I'd get a lot further today. That's taken loads longer than I thought it would. It was actually quite fiddly. I've had a change of heart. I've taken out the screws, and it recommends that you use M3 bolts. Whack those in just so that it doesn't leak, you know. It hadn't leaked. It's been a couple of days and it has rained, but still. Bolts coming through, and I'm just going to use a washer and a nylock nut to wire these up. This is my electrical diagram that Bespoke Solar has done for me. We're going to split the feeds, and then we're wiring one 120 panel in series with a 150 panel, and that goes to the splitter, and then the same on the other side, one 120 in series with a 150. To install these MC4 connectors, they've got a male and female part, and they've also got male and female wire connectors, so you need to make sure that you get them the right way round. The easiest way I've found by doing that is just dropping it in and checking that it's a nice tight fit, the right metal connector to the right plastic connector. Then I'm going to strip my wire, place my connector on the wire, and then I've found just by pre-pinching those little wings helps it to go in. Use the specialist crimping tool, give those a crimp, there you go, and then that piece goes on there, that piece goes on there, and when you push these in, if you get it wrong at this point and you push in, they're on the wrong ones, you can't go back. So that like snaps into place, and then that will not come out for love nor money. And then you just screw that on there, and then this little set that I bought came with these handy little spanners, so you can just tighten those up as tight as you can, get as tight as possible until it clicks. So that's my positive and negative put onto the connectors. I've got a splitter, and then that just goes on there. It is pretty much dark now. We lost the light last night, but I did manage to get them all wired up, which was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I didn't have to actually make any more connections with the MC4 connectors, so it was actually a pretty quick job once I'd wired it in, but I'm just going to double check it because it was going dark. I'm going to cable tie all the cables up so they don't rattle around, and then we'll switch it on. So my positive comes out the van and then splits there, and in one side going into that positive cable from the 120 watt panel, and the negative from that panel heads to one of the one of the 150 panels linking to the positive cable, and then the negative links back to the splitter, which completes the loop in the series, and then that is replicated on the other side exactly the same. I didn't need to extend any of the cables, so I didn't actually need to use any more of the MC4 connectors. So my plan is I'm just going to zip tie those all up, get it bolted back down, and turn the power on. We've got a power cut, which is why there's an annoying beeping noise in the background, but just gone round and zip tied all my cables up to the bottom of the unistrut. Right, let's turn the power on. 1, 2. It's booting up. Solar panel isolator on. Yes. Yes, we're getting it, look. 16 watts. Not very many, but it shows that it is. Nice. Yes. That's amazing. Oh, it's really starting to feel like it's coming together now. Oh, that's another big, that feels like another big moment. It's another vital job on the van build ticked off the list. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Do hit the like button. Do subscribe if you want to join us on this van build
and big adventure trips to come. Let me know in the comments how your van build is going. A lot of people who watch are building their own vans at the moment. Always like to hear from people that are watching. Click here if you want to see how we installed all of our Victron electrical equipment, and click here if you want to see our latest video. See you in the next one.